80% of our communication is non-verbal. So that means that when you're talking to someone, they are more picking up on your nonverbal cues, the way you're talking to them, your eye contact, your body language, right? All of that stuff put together. So it's less about the words that you say. Now, why do you want to learn something like this? A lot of guys might want to learn body language just so they can be more attractive to the woman that they meet. But instead, it's a little bit more counterintuitive than that. The reason why you want to learn this is so you feel more confident and you feel more powerful when you're talking to a woman. I want you to focus more on that part rather than I got to do these things to get her attracted. But of course, the things that you're going to be doing, the things I'll be describing today, do help as well. So first, let's talk about your actual body and your stance, right? There's something called a power stance, and that is when you are standing up, you have really good posture. I'll give you a little tip right now, like how do you have a good posture? Normally people are hunched over like this. So instead, you want to straighten your back, you want to roll your shoulders back, you want to stand up tall like this, and then you want to keep about 1.5 to 2 feet distance between your legs when you're standing up. So that's a power stance. That is going to make you feel more powerful. You are more erect in your body, so you're going to feel taller, and you're going to be taking up more space when your feet are spread out by a couple of feet. It's going to make you feel a little bit more powerful, and of course, it's going to make you look more attractive versus a guy who is, slumped over, hands in his pockets, and taking up as little space as possible. We don't want to do that. I remember years ago when I was learning from the pickup gurus about taking up more space. And I'll have to say that there is something to that. When you take up more space, you do look more confident. Now here's the thing. You don't want to overdo it, right? So you don't want to be taking up so much space, your legs are spread out by like 4 feet. You're going to look more ridiculous. But the whole idea here is being more comfortable in your body. That's what this power stance is all about. You want to look more comfortable in your body. Now, of course, you can look a little too stiff if you overcorrect yourself. So you don't want to go too much, but also the other way of being all shrunken and like this is going to be the opposite. So we don't want that either. We want comfort. We want you to stand tall, be okay with taking up space in this world, and feel comfortable with your surroundings. That's why this idea of taking up space and standing more erect is so much more attractive. And that's why when you see leaders do this and public speakers do this and celebrities do this, when you see this on them, that's one of the reasons why you become so attracted to that, because there's almost this fearless sense of them taking up space. That's really the idea. When people are shrunken in, when they're not giving good eye contact, which we're going to get to in a second, it just looks like they're scared to be in the world. And you're going to feel like that because your body is a very powerful thing. And also, she's going to view that from you when you guys are talking to each other. Now next, I just mentioned eye contact, so let's bring that up as well. Eye contact is a really big portion of feeling powerful and feeling comfortable and feeling confident in a conversation. And I know that a lot of guys don't do this. In fact, to this day, I'm still working on it. I still have to pay attention. It's not a full-on habit or has not become fully part of me. It's something that I'm always working on. And that's the idea of talking to someone and looking them in the eye when you're talking to them. Now, it is easy to look someone in the eye when you're listening because there's not much to do. It tends to be a little bit more challenging and something that you can practice when you are talking to someone and simultaneously looking in their eye. A lot of people tend to kind of look away or look down, or sometimes when I'm talking to someone, I kind of look like this or I look up. Like, it just happens because that's how naturally some of us talk. But if you want to make a very powerful connection with someone and even feel powerful yourself, looking them in the eye when you're talking to them is going to help that dramatically. We connect more with people on the other end and on your end when we're able to maintain that eye contact. Next, which is funny, let's talk about speaking from your voice. And I say that's funny because I don't know if you can tell, but I've lost my voice a little bit. I'm just on the tail end of a cold here, but still, I will do my best. When you're talking to someone, you want to make sure you are projecting, and you're projecting more from your chest or your belly rather than talking from your throat. And a lot of us, when we're nervous Or when we just feel uncomfortable, right? Like you ever get like really cold when you're outside because it's winter and you're kind of just shivering and you're talking from your throat, like you just feel uncomfortable, right? So you want to be instead talking from your chest and your belly. So I'll give you examples of what that sounds like. All right. So right now, I'm doing everything I can to talk from my throat instead of talking any lower. It's all about breath. There's only so much breath I have when I'm talking from my throat. Try it. Okay, now let's go a little bit deeper. Let's talk from the chest, which is basically what I've been doing here on this video this whole time, is talking from the chest, taking breaths, deep breaths, and projecting my voice when I'm talking to you. Now we can go from the belly, and now I can project even more because I have more airflow and I'm bringing it all the way down to my diaphragm. And I can even feel the vibrations rather in my throat or my chest, but actually coming from my diaphragm, coming from my belly and talking to you. Now, you don't have to be that intense with it, but you want to be talking from at least your chest to your diaphragm so you're projecting so people can hear you. So you're not whispering and talking from your throat and sound like you're choking on something. And maybe we haven't even noticed that when you've been out and talking to people, but it might be happening. And now that you're watching this video, you will notice it. So make sure that you're taking breaths, you're speaking from your chest. It even does help to, like we were saying earlier with the power stance, to open up a little bit, to bring your shoulders back, to be talking from this area that is now more stretched out. Really, it all ties together when it comes to your talking as well as your actual body positioning, because when you're able to have that power stance and stand up tall, you can stretch your chest out, you can talk more clear with more volume, and you can be projecting it more when you're talking to somebody. And when you're using these body language tips, you're going to be approaching women. And if you want to learn how to approach more women, I'm going to give you 7 tips right here on this video that you see on the screen so you can do better at attracting a woman, so you can use the tips that you used on this video, that you heard on this video, alongside with the tips to approach women and get them attracted to you. And if you need more help with all of this put together, go to tripadvicecoaching.com, where you'll actually get a one-on-one coach so we can coach you through this whole process of meeting and attracting women.